Okay. Hello, everybody. Having an interesting time with the camera this morning. I had it set up so that it faced me. I go on the air and it flipped, and I don't know how to flip it back on the software. So basically, you've got me on the thing right now. And I don't know. I'm hoping this came up on my regular channel. If not, I will go live on the other phone since the pre-broadcast wasn't here. Anyway, for those of you who may not know, I am in the area before the courtrooms. Oh, hello, John. And I don't know if I can get the Zoom to work on this camera. No, I can't. But the hearing is going to be in 3D at 8:30. And what I'll do is I will go in and I will report on it. But I'm really not sure why I can't get the camera to turn around. This is weird. Because if I hit this, it turns the camera off. If I go into my more setting, layout, settings, camera, facing back. Okay, I should be able to turn this around. And there we go. All right. So anyway, I'm going to, at 8 o'clock or so, I'm going to go upstairs. I've got some business to conduct with the court administration, and I'll get into more about what that's about tonight. And find out what I need to do about when I come here next week or at the court date and all that other stuff. What I would do then is I will go in, view the hearing, and I will then come out and set up and discuss with you preliminarily what came out in the hearing. Now, today we should find out when the actual trial is going to take place, jury selection, that sort of thing. Excuse me, I'm trying to get adjusted in this chair. You know, and get all the stuff out of the way that you normally do before a trial. Now, there's more than likely there's going to be a couple motions that the prosecution makes and the defense makes. The prosecution filed a motion to strike the insanity defense by the Neely's attorneys, so we're having to wait and see how that's going to roll. There's a couple files that have not been opened up yet, so I'm waiting for those. And then we should be able to get a clearer picture of what's going to happen in the coming weeks. There seems to be an explosion of new discovery coming out, so I've got to check. That's one of the things I have to do upstairs is check on this new discovery and some other things. And just as an interesting note, which I'll be discussing tonight, Holmseth and his crowd seem intent on not wanting me to live stream from here and cover this case. I find that a little peculiar, but I do think that something is going on in the background, and Tim Holmseth and his cohorts are trying to prevent this information from coming out. And so I talked to some people from the Press Association, and they're going to start looking to see if they can figure out if there's anything worth reporting on this, because there's, in all the years that I've been to courts and covered court cases, I've never had this kind of an effort to prevent a member of the press from covering a trial, either online or in the trial room itself. So it's one of these things that needs to be looked at to figure out why this is taking place. Now let me go back to the main room, because in this particular setting I don't have general settings. Okay. Now I gotta figure out. Now if this thing knocks me off here, I'm gonna be. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not worried about it either. I think it's kind of stupid myself, because number one, as this gets closer to the trial date, there's going to be other outlets that are going to cover this trial, and it's going to be bigger people. John, this is a state case. This is the 5th District of the state of Florida. The murder charges are all state felonies, and so that's why it's being held here. But each court can decide, as far as cameras and that sort of thing, what happens, and that's one of the things that I have to check on. The camera itself I can't use in the courtroom. I need to find out if I'm going to be able to either use audio or if I can text from the court with everything, all my notifications muted and everything, so the phones don't go off. And so this is one of these things that I'm going to have to check with. Well, Timmy can't show up because he's got a warrant for his arrest, and I've notified the Marion County Sheriff's Office of this, and so if he shows up, he's going to be in for an unpleasant surprise. As far as I know, there's no action against Randy in the state of Florida, so she doesn't have a warrant yet. But this is a pretrial hearing. I doubt somebody's going to come down for this. This thing's only going to last about an hour or two, and then it's going to be 2-3 weeks before we get to the actual trial. This is basically what I call a housekeeping hearing. What they do is they go through all the arrangements. There's a lot of questions by the judge. If there's any motions or concerns that are brought before the judge at this time, they may or may not try for a continuance again. They've already been denied continuance before. And so that's going to be the big thing, whether this thing is going to go through in May or are we going to have another delay? And so we have to look at that. So so basically all this is going to be is just a short hearing. This is a lot like what happened up in Colorado when I covered the ABSUG case. They sit there and they go through things. In the ABSUG case, I wound up continuing it, and I couldn't go back for that one. This one, I live an hour and a half from here, so it's not a problem. Mark, she does have warrants in the state of Ohio, and I believe she's got a warrant in the state of Minnesota. The problem is these are misdemeanor warrants, and they're not valid outside of the individual states. Also, she's got that warrant in Ohio. But the the problem with that is this is the state of Florida. They don't extradite on misdemeanors, so I doubt that she would be arrested on that. Now, if she causes a disturbance of any kind, trying to prevent me from covering the case, then she could be arrested here for that. And then when they do her jacket to see if she has any priors, they're going to see that she's basically got a warrant for the same thing, and that's not going to bode well for her. So that would be something that she would want to avoid. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this out, and I will talk to everybody after the hearing. I will try and give some update as to what happens. If I do any live tweeting or what have you, I will notify you of that, because it's going to be up to the court what I do. Now, what I'm going to test is I am not going to shut the broadcast off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shut my phone off. Since the broadcast is on a server, the room shall remain open, but I won't be there because I have to turn the phone off. And so this will be a test, because if this works the way I want it to, if I am allowed to text, and I'm going to use the comment section of my phone to text, but we'll see what happens later.
How are you doing?
Good.
So, people are starting to show up for the various hearings, so we'll see. I don't know if any of these people are Blanchard supporters, but she has a lot of support, so you never know who's going to show up at this thing. Anyway, I appreciate you folks checking in, and we'll see what happens. And so somebody can text me on Twitter and let me know if the room is still up. And this happened on the PC the other night, and I'm going to be curious if this happens on this phone. So anyway, I'm going to bow out for the time being. So stand by.